Your worst enemy isn't your circumstances. It's the lies you tell yourself in the mirror. David Goggins grew up in literal hell. An abusive father who ran a skating rink by night and terrorized his family behind closed doors. By age 8, he was working all night, sleeping through school and hiding bruises on the playground. When they finally escaped, poverty and racism in small-town Indiana became his new prison. He was called the N-word, had guns pulled on him, and found death threats in his school books. By junior year, he was failing everything, couldn't read above a fourth grade level, and had given up on life. But here's where most people's stories end, and where Goggins really began. He looked in the mirror one night and did something most people never do. He told himself the brutal truth. No sugarcoating, no excuses, no victim mentality. You're dumb, you're lazy, you're going nowhere, and nobody's coming to save you. That mirror became his accountability mirror. Covered in post-it notes with harsh truths and daily goals. Make your bed like military. Pull up your pants. Study for 6 hours. Run in the rain. He went from fourth grade reading level to high school level in 6 months through pure repetition and discipline. Failed the military entrance exam twice, then passed on the third try. The secret wasn't motivation. It was accountability and accepting discomfort as fuel. When it was raining, that's when he'd go run. When it was hardest, that's when he'd push through. He learned that confidence doesn't come from talent or perfect families. It comes from keeping promises to yourself when nobody else is watching. Your past trauma, your current limitations, your worst circumstances, they're not excuses. They're raw materials for building an unbreakable mindset. Stop looking for external validation and start having honest conversations with yourself. The person staring back at you in the mirror is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Which one will you choose to see? Your mind is lying to you about your limits. Most people quit the moment they feel uncomfortable, but here's what they don't understand. Physical pain is temporary. Mental weakness is permanent. When David Goggins was 300 pounds working as an exterminator, he discovered something that changed everything. The voice in your head telling you to quit? That's not your friend, that's your enemy. Real transformation happens when you stop negotiating with that voice and start doing things that suck on purpose every single day. The Navy SEALs have a concept called taking souls. It's not about hurting others. It's about breaking through when everyone expects you to break down. When you're supposed to be finished, that's when you go harder. While others are looking for the easy way out, you're looking for the harder path. Because that's where growth lives. Most people avoid discomfort like it's poison. But discomfort is actually your greatest teacher. It shows you who you really are. When the pretty mask comes off, the difference between successful people and everyone else? Successful people have learned to weaponize their suffering. They turn pain into power. They use obstacles as stepping stones. When life beats them down, they get back up and ask for more. This isn't about being tough for other people. This is about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. Your comfort zone is a prison, disguised as a safe space. Break out of it daily. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. Make your bed when you don't want to. Run when your body says stop. Study when your brain says quit. The goal isn't to suffer for suffering's sake. The goal is to build an unbreakable mind. Because when you control your mind, you control your life. Stop making excuses. Start making moves. Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. Your brain lies to you when pain hits. Here's how to fight back. Most people think they've reached their limit when they've barely scratched 40% of their potential. The human mind has an incredible ability to handle more than we think possible. But first, you need to understand something called the calloused mind. Just like your hands develop calluses from repeated friction, your mind can develop mental calluses from enduring hardship. Every difficult experience you've survived has made your mind tougher. The key is learning how to tap into that toughness when you need it most. When pain, doubt, or fear tries to stop you, don't run from your past struggles. Use them as fuel. Create what I call a cookie jar, a mental collection of all your past victories, both big and small. That time you overcame depression, lost weight, graduated despite the odds, or simply didn't quit when everyone else did. These aren't just memories, they're proof of what you're capable of. When your mind starts asking, "Why are you doing this?" you need to have your answers ready. Because in the heat of battle, when you're broken and beaten, those answers become your lifeline. The difference between those who quit and those who push through isn't talent or genetics. It's the ability to control your thought process and channel your darkness into power. Physical training is the perfect laboratory to build this mental strength. Every time you want to quit but push through anyway, you're adding another layer to your mental callus. Visualization isn't just daydreaming. See yourself succeeding, but also prepare for the obstacles. Know exactly why you're doing what you're doing before the pain hits. Remember, you can't visualize lies. The mental strategies only work if you put in the actual work. Your past struggles weren't punishments. They were training for moments like this. Stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and start seeing your life as the ultimate training ground. The most powerful weapon you have isn't your body. It's your calloused, armored mind. So next time you hit a wall, don't ask, why me? Ask, what am I capable of? Because the answer might shock you. Your brain is lying to you about your limits. When you think you've given everything you have, you've only tapped into 40% of your true potential. The remaining 60% is locked away behind what I call your mental governor. Just like a car's governor limits engine performance, your mind creates artificial barriers to keep you comfortable and safe. But here's the truth. That governor can be overridden. Every time you feel like quitting, that's not your body failing. That's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. The most successful people in the world have learned to push past that initial wall of pain and exhaustion. They've discovered the 40% rule. Think about a boxer on their first day versus after 10 years of training. The punches don't hurt less. Their mind has been calloused to handle more punishment. You can do the same thing with any challenge in your life. Start by pushing just 5 to 10% beyond your normal stopping point. If you usually do 100 push-ups, do 105. If you run 30 miles a week, run 33. This isn't about becoming superhuman overnight. It's about slowly expanding your threshold for discomfort. Because life will test you whether you're ready or not. You'll face moments where everything in you wants to quit. Your relationships, your career, your goals, they all require you to push past that 40% barrier. The people who achieve greatness aren't more talented. They've just learned to access more of their potential. They've removed their mental governor through deliberate practice and pain. Physical challenges are the best training ground for mental toughness. When you prove to yourself you can push through physical discomfort, that confidence transfers everywhere. You start to question all your other self-imposed limitations. What am I really capable of? That's the question that changes everything. Stop accepting mediocrity as your ceiling. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you have, but only if you're willing to go to war with your own comfort zone. The governor is real, but so is your ability to override it. Start today. Push 5% further than yesterday. Because the person you could become is waiting on the other side of that discomfort. Your talent means absolutely nothing without an uncommon work ethic. Most people think once they reach a certain level of success, they've made it. But greatness isn't something that stays with you forever. It evaporates like oil in a hot pan. The moment you get comfortable is the moment you start getting soft. In life, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no staying the same. When David Goggins was told he had a hole in his heart, doctors couldn't believe what he'd accomplished. He'd been running on half a tank his entire life and still became one of the world's most elite warriors. This is proof that your limitations are mostly in your mind, not your genetics. The secret isn't talent. It's becoming addicted to hard work. Most people work 40 hours a week and call it 100% effort. But there are 168 hours in a week. That 40-hour mindset is mediocrity. You need to win the morning. Get up at 4 a.m. while others sleep. Schedule your life like you're on a 24-hour mission every single day. Audit your life and eliminate the bullshit. How much time do you waste on social media? Every hour should be dedicated to a specific task with zero wasted time. When Goggins became a Navy SEAL recruiter, he spoke to 500,000 people in 2 years. He'd run ultra-marathons on weekends while maintaining a full-time job. The uncommon among uncommon don't take breaks. They find ways to keep getting better. Start at zero every single day, no matter what you accomplished yesterday. Your refrigerator is never full and never will be. There's always room for improvement. Most people reach a cushy plateau and get comfortable. That's called getting soft. True leaders stay exhausted, fight for their people, and lead by example. Being uncommon means doing the hard thing when everyone else chooses comfort. It means being the person still working at midnight while others are at the bar. The path to greatness requires sustaining excellence for a long period of time. This isn't for everyone. It demands singular focus and will upset your life balance. But if you want to stand out among wolves, you need to become the apex predator. Stop making excuses about not having time. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else. The difference is how you choose to use them. Failure isn't the end of your story. It's your greatest teacher. Most people run from failure, but champions do something different. They perform what's called an after-action report, a brutal autopsy of what went wrong. Here's how to turn your biggest failures into your greatest comeback. First, write down everything that went right during your failure. Yes, you heard that correctly. Even in failure, good things happened. You showed up. You tried. You pushed past your comfort zone. Acknowledge these wins because they're your foundation for the next attempt. Second, examine your mindset throughout the entire process. How were you thinking during preparation, during execution? Were you overconfident, underprepared, distracted by external noise? Your mental game is where most battles are won or lost. Third, identify the tactical mistakes, the specific things you can fix. Bad equipment, poor nutrition, wrong environment, weak strategy. These are your leverage points for massive improvement. Fourth, and this is crucial, schedule your next attempt immediately. Don't let failure become a permanent residence in your mind. The longer you wait, the more doubt creeps in and takes control. Fifth, understand that your entitled mind is dead weight. You don't deserve success just because you want it badly. Focus on what you're willing to earn, not what you think you deserve. Sixth, surround yourself with people who challenge you to try again. Avoid comfort seekers who want to protect you from further pain. You need voices that ask when, not if, you'll take another shot. Remember, most people prefer delusion over truth. They blame others, bad luck, or circumstances beyond their control. Champions take full ownership and use failure as fuel. Every failure contains treasure if you're willing to dig for it. The forensics will reveal exactly where to make adjustments. Most importantly, ask yourself one powerful question. What if? What if this failure is preparing you for something greater? What if your next attempt breaks through the impossible? What if your comeback story inspires someone else to never quit? Failure is not your enemy, it's your secret weapon. Use it wisely and watch yourself become unstoppable.